The former head of the Mental Health Directorate in the Gauteng Health Department, Dr. Makgabo Manamela, says that she was surprised by media reports that the Life Esidimeni contract had been terminated. Manamela has been testifying at the Life Esidimeni inquest meant to determine who should be held criminally liable for the 2016 tragedy that saw more than 140 mentally health patients die after they were put into unlicensed NGOs. Joined now by Nxumalo, representative of the committee representing the families of those who died. Christine, good evening to you, and thank you very much indeed for your time. As I understand some of Manamela's evidence, she says that if she opposed this decision to take people out of Life Esidimeni and move them into these NGOs, she would have lost her job. She seems to be suggesting that Kaldani Mahlangu, who was the health MEC at the time, was making it hostile for her to try and oppose this. Do you think we're getting closer to what actually happened?
Good evening, Stephen, and thank you for having me. Look, we did not get that impression when we got involved with the process. So whether she would have been fired or not, unfortunately, she chose to go along with it. I don't think we're getting any closer, really.
I mean, according to Manamela, the key mover was Mahlangu. You're suggesting that Manamela would have had a responsibility to speak up and oppose it.
Yeah, the MEC could have been and probably was. But the problem is they were the enablers. You know, had they stood up and said, no, that cannot be done, they could have easily stopped her from proceeding.
Why do you think they didn't, Christine? Do you have any thoughts on why they didn't oppose what we now know was such a bad decision?
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Some of these MECs can be very difficult to deal with. And some of them think they are a law unto themselves, and they can make people's lives very difficult. But if the entire directorate felt that this was wrong, and they all stood together, they would have had the power to stop her. But I suppose they chose not to.
This has been such a long process. There was, of course, the mediation chaired by former Deputy Chief Justice Gauteng Department. We've had evidence from Manamela before. We now are at the inquest phase, and only after that will we have criminal charges. What do you think is going to be the next important step? Are you looking forward to the, I presume, questions being put to Kaldani Mahlangu, and I presume she will have to testify in this inquest part of this case?
Yeah, no, it would be interesting to hear, because what we're noticing with the inquest is that everybody's throwing everybody else under the bus and protecting themselves. So yes, it would be very interesting to hear what she has to say. And this collective responsibility thing that, they've been putting forward, whether that will become a thing again, because we're heading to elections now. So obviously the conversation or the tone is going to be to try and save their own backs.
Do you think everyone was sort of in it together then? Is that what you're suggesting? I mean, everyone knew what was going on, or do you think that people did have different views?
I think, honestly speaking, Stephen, I think it was a political decision that was made, which then translated into the department. And I suppose that is why the MEC maybe made the decision that she made. But remember, ultimately, they are responsible. So whether it was a political decision or it was an administrative decision, they made the decisions to do that, which led to death. So somebody needs to be held accountable.
If you had a chance to ask Kaldani Mahlangu a question under oath, is there a particular issue you would focus on, a particular question you would put to her?
Why does she hate her own people so much?
Christine Nxumalo, thank you. A representative of the Life Esidimeni Family Committee representing the families of those who died.